Hello friends, and welcome back. Today I am doing a video that is highly requested, which is my skincare routine. And the reason I felt like I wanted to do this, I've done a few in the past, but I have really simplified my routine. And it is in large part to this one product, which is the Photozyme DNA Youth Recovery. I'm going to go into detail about this because this is kind of the star of the show, but it's really catapulted my routine into a new, more simplified stratosphere. So I figured I would combine both and talk about them. And first I'm going to walk you through just what I do in the routine because I think that's a little bit quicker. And then I'm going to dive into this product in specific because you're going to hear me talking a lot more about it in the coming months and hopefully years, because I do find that this is just one of those standout products that I can see using for a very long time to come. So with all that said, give it a big ol' like if you're enjoying it. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It helps me so much. And we'll get into the video. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the routine. Like I said, this is, I would say, more of a morning routine. At nighttime, I'll talk you through that a little bit, but it doesn't need to be that complicated. And that's why I do encourage most people to do a more simplified routine. And as someone who gets a lot of products, it can be very hard. But I have found this one screenshot, which I'm going to post here, to be really what catapulted me into having a more simplified routine. And that is, it's actually from the brand Photozyme. But the way that we're looking at it is it's a pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid is SPF and antioxidants and DNA repair. I've always believed that SPF is basically like the be all end all. And I still believe that it's the foundation. If you're not using SPF, if you're not using sunscreen, throw all your other products away. You're wasting your money. So I still believe that. And I still believe that antioxidants are important. Vitamin C and I are not like the best friends, but we'll get into that. But the new one is DNA repair. And I'm going to tell you all about it when I get later in the video. So, but that's kind of how I started my routine, or not my routine, but thinking of what I wanted my skincare routine to be like. That's the basis. That's why I say this product is so important to me. It's at the bottom of the pyramid. You need it for everything else to work. The next one I've always used some type of retinol, bakuchiol, tretinoin. Bakuchiol is not as good, but you know, something for that skin turnover. Same with AHAs or any type of exfoliant, either chemical or physical. Those have always been in my routine. I see the beauty and the point of them. They help with exfoliation, cell turnover, and of course that moisturization that you're gonna get from your skin being nice and fresh and new. So at the top of the pyramid, we have Optimize, and that is our peptides and growth factors. Peptides are not new necessarily, neither are growth factors, but growth factors are getting more and more popular. So I will get into those, but as you see in the pyramid, it is the smallest part. So I think it's important, but I don't base everything off of that. They're kind of like the nice to have. So that's kind of how I thought of it, and this pyramid has really helped me in that thinking. So then when I am doing my skincare in the morning, I typically have a pretty clean face. I always wash it the night before. So in the morning, I do not wash with a foaming cleanser or any type of like harsher cleanser. I just wash with water. You can do maybe micellar water. I know some people like to do that, but it is important to get kind of the leftover residue of your moisturizer, or even if maybe like some stuff got on your face at night. I don't know if you're sleeping in a ditch. I don't know. I'm kidding. But it is just nice to start with a fresh canvas. So I just wash with water. That's it. And then the very first step in my routine is the Photozyme. This product is so easy. And I'm going to get into that in a second. But it doesn't require you having to have extra time for it to sink in. It doesn't leave your face glowy. It doesn't leave it dry. It's just easy, and that's why I start with it. And then I go in with my vitamin C. Currently, I am really loving this Timeless skincare, 20% vitamin C and ferulic acid and vitamin E. Here's a spoiler. I don't think you need to spend $180 on something like SkinCeuticals vitamin C when you can get this. This is, I forget how much, $20 or $30. It's basically the same formula. It's just not as fancy in name and like brand. But vitamin C is kind of vitamin C. It may oxidize faster, certain ones, but if you're using it every day and keeping it in a dark, cool place, it should do a little bit better, but it will oxidize. So I'd rather spend $20 or $30 versus $180 when it's going to oxidize anyway. Okay, so that is the first 2 steps in the morning. I go in with a moisturizer some mornings. I live in the hot, humid South, so I can skip moisturizer quite often, especially if I have like a glowy vitamin C. And then the last step would be my sunscreen, not skincare. So really I can get away with a 3-step routine in the morning, and that's all I need. You're not gonna be doing any exfoliants, any retinol in the morning. That's just not recommended with any UV exposure, even if you are wearing a sunscreen. So I have that saved for the nighttime. One of the things that I will say is my peptides and growth factors kind of has been changing. I'm trying to find one that is both a little bit more affordable and also has the peptides and the growth factors that I want. Ideally, I want them combined. I do not have time for 18 different serums. I just don't like that kind of routine. So I am getting the Medicate. It's the new one. What's it called? Liquid Peptides Advanced MP Face Serum. I have that and it's coming on the way. It's coming on the way, what? It will be here soon. That one is peptides. It's like 13 different types of peptides and also growth factors. So if I like that, I think the $92 that it is, I mean, that's expensive, but it's got a lot of ingredients in it. I think it will be well worth it because it's combining my peptides and growth factors, and that's what I want. So that kind of product you can use morning or night. I tend to use it more at night just because sometimes vitamin C doesn't play well with other products. So I just like to do the vitamin C in the morning and usually the peptides at night. Okay, so let's get into the nighttime routine. So I double cleanse. I always double cleanse. I don't care when a brand tells me that their product is a 1 cleanse, you don't need to double cleanse. I still double cleanse. It's user error more than anything. I tend to like not get the edges of my face, so I like to double cleanse, but I also don't have dry skin. So for me, it's not an issue. If you have drier skin, I would recommend hydrating products so that you're not stripping your skin. But that is the first step. Gotta get the sunscreen off, gotta get the makeup off, gotta get my face nice and clean. And then the next step is gonna be one of the photozymes. So I either use the DNA Youth Recovery if I'm not going in with a retinol, or if I am, if that's that kind of night, I will use their GFS plus night serum, 1% retinol. So my skin is not sensitive. It is very hardy. I can do the 1%, but they also have lower grades of it. So if you are more of a beginner, I would recommend one of the lower ones. But for me, this works perfectly fine. And I don't need to do both this and the DNA Youth Recovery. I do use this first, but mainly because if I'm using this is my exfoliator, this is my retinol. I don't really need a lot of other active ingredients. If I'm going to be using peptides, I can do them before, but it's not an every night thing. Like I said in the pyramid, it's kind of a nice to have. But for me, if I'm using this retinol, this is the star of the show. And so I would be using this, and then I would go in with the moisturizer and or afterward a night cream. My current favorite moisturizer is the Remedy for moisturizing. This is their barrier repairing rich cream moisturizer. This is the one that's for dry normal skin. I love this stuff. At first I thought I didn't like it because it kind of pilled on me. But I found that if I use this as like a very first step with nothing else on my face, it does like pill a little, but I like this better as a barrier repair. So you're putting it on top of everything else. It's kind of the layer on top, sealing everything else in. It's so rich in like a very subtle way. Like it's not thick at all. And it will stay on your face. So you will wake up the next morning and your face will still feel like you've got product on it, which I love. So this for me is actually a moisturizer and an overnight mask in one. But if I'm not using that, I'll use a moisturizer and sometimes something similar to this or this as the overnight mask. So if you think about it, that's really not that many steps. Cleansing, and then I'm using a few actives, and then I'm using a moisturizer. Same as the morning. It's typically about 3, maybe 4 products, and that is my routine. But I just wanted to go back to the main point of this video, and that is that pyramid. So I really think that if you focus on those bottom ones, we're getting our SPF, we're getting our antioxidants, which again are not sexy. I have never seen any progress from wearing vitamin C. I just do it because I know I should. And then DNA repair. And I think if you can get those 3 covered, the other 2 are ones that you can do when you have the time or the opportunity. So you don't have to use peptides every single night. Same with retinol. You don't want to use that every single night. But I think as you intersperse them throughout your routine, you will see the benefit over time. And just like everything in skincare, none of this is going to be a quick fix. You have to do this over a long amount of time and be consistent to really see results. But when you have a routine that's 3 steps in the morning or 4 steps, it just makes it a lot easier. So I have found simplifying my routine has been great. And I do swap things in and out, but for the most part, there are certain products like this Photozyme that just stay. Well, this is the wrong one. This is the Photozyme. I mean, this stays too. So that is my skincare routine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was fun to film. And if you have any questions, as always, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.